My life is miserable.
Ethry Schroeder's really upset. He claims the man he used to work for took his identity and used it to purchase homes all over San Diego.
He used my credit.
This isn't your typical ID theft. This one's much more complex. It involves purchasing homes with someone else's name, renting the homes out, and then collecting money from the renters until the banks foreclose on the homes.
He had put 3 houses in my name for over $750,000.
Schroeder says La Jolla realtor Sam Suleiman took his identity to buy homes.
Sam basically used my identity.
Schroeder says it all started when he tried to buy a home from Sam.
I basically decided to give him $40,000 of my life savings and a cashier check.
He intended to buy this home on La Cañada.
I signed several loan docs thinking it was for La Cañada.
He soon found out that wasn't the case.
I started getting paperwork in the mail for several different properties. I don't even know where they were located until I got the paperwork.
Fox 6 News paid a visit to one of the addresses on 42nd Street. We uncovered mail listing Schroeder as the owner, but the tenant says her rent checks go to Sam Suleiman. We found another house in San Isidro, where according to real estate records, Schroeder's the current owner. But tenants say their rent goes to Rosa and Sam Suleiman.
Never even lived in San Diego.
Schroeder's name was also used by Sam Suleiman's wife to rent a mansion in Point Loma at $6,000 a month rent.
He used my bank statements and my good credit and my name.
Schroeder's name's on the lease, but he never set foot in the house.
This house is in my name and I don't live there.
Meanwhile, banks are calling saying Schroeder owes thousands and thousands on homes he's never seen.
My credit, which I can't even buy a hot plate of food now.
We wanted to hear from the man behind it all, but he won't go on camera. Instead, he sent his wife Rosa. She says Schroeder made it all up and claims this is part of a hate crime.
We're getting calls saying that my husband is a terrorist.
We showed her documents from a broker who says her husband was operating in an illegal manner. We also showed her the lease for the mansion, with her and Schroeder listed as renters. Owner of the property said you put Mr. Schroeder's name on the lease and said he was your boyfriend. Is that correct?
That's not correct.
All these people are liars.
Yeah.
Bottom line, did your husband take the identity of Mr. Schroeder and others and buy his property?
No.
So all these people who are saying this,
are lying.
Schroeder had these final words.
I like to have him brought to justice.
John Mattis, Fox 6 News.
He had put 3 houses in my name for over $750,000.
It's a story we broke here at Fox 6. La Jolla realtor Sam Suleiman is accused of using another man's identity and credit to purchase and rent homes around the county.
Sam basically used my identity.
Ethry Schroeder tried to buy this house from Suleiman, but after he signed papers, he learned the documents legally obligated him to several other properties.
I started getting paperwork in the mail for several different properties.
Fox 6 News investigated and found the homes that were listed in Schroeder's name. But guess where the rent checks went? Sam Suleiman.
He used my bank statements and my good credit and my name.
Schroeder isn't alone. Fox 6 News found Nicholas Estrada, a San Diego college student, had 8 homes transferred to his name by Sam Suleiman, who then collects all the tenants' rent checks.
This obviously was anything but identity theft.
Today, Suleiman met us and admitted what we aired about the rents was correct.
Are you getting rent from those houses that we showed on television last night?
Absolutely.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yes
I'm getting rent for these properties on which. Okay, no, you're not going to.
No, I'm going to finish.
I was supposed to make payments.
But Suleiman has a different take on how this all came about. He claims Schroeder's been in on it from the start.
How does this worker afford 3 homes that you get the money from?
The properties were going to be bought back from him.
We then asked Suleiman about what we uncovered about student Nick Estrada.
8 properties in someone else's name.
No comments on that.
No comments? Why?
Absolutely no comment. Your allegations absolutely are absurd. I have not forced anybody to do anything.
No, you haven't.
No comments.
No one. Then he threw us out.
Nice meeting you. John Mattis, Fox 6 News. Nice meeting you.
Get out of here.
Nice meeting you.
Get that camera out of here.
No,
Get out.
Have a nice day.
John Mattis, Fox 6 News.
Ethray became the new homeowner of 2 properties that Ethry didn't know about.
Ethry Schroeder claims his identity was stolen by La Jolla realtor Sam Suleiman. Schroeder says Suleiman used his name to purchase homes, then collected rent from the tenants, leaving the homes to go to default.
Surreal.
Schroeder's uncle, R.J. Salerno, has been looking into what happened for the past month. He says there had to be fraud every step of the way to make it look like his nephew could really afford 2 homes.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Fox 6 News uncovered a credit letter for Schroeder saying he had over $225,000 credit with a stone company. Only problem is the stone company doesn't exist. The address is for a home owned by Rosa and Sam Suleiman. And that's not all.
We found out that the real estate purchase contracts are all forged. Also the loan documents, the loan application, the 1003, as well as all disclosures have been all forged.
Those are harsh allegations, but that's mild compared to what one whistleblower is saying.
I was a property manager for those properties.
Meet Dana, a former employee of Suleiman. She agreed to watch what we uncovered.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
She confirms the allegations of forgery.
Sign.
Sign what?
Whatever documents he wanted signed.
Dana says many in the office forged names for Suleiman.
They were forced to do that.
Suleiman's denied wrongdoing, but he says Schroeder and others were in on it.
There was a financial reward to him. The financial reward was that he was going to get money from these properties.
We would have asked a lot more questions, but we're cut off, but others won't be.
Get that camera out of here.
No,
Get out.
Have a nice
Get
day.
The proper authorities are looking at this very closely.
John Mattis, Fox 6 News.
Arjun Patton joins us now in the newsroom with all those details. What a day, Jim.
Yeah, no doubt, Esta. Investigative journalist John Mattis is an attorney and reporter known for his tenacity in tracking down cases of deception and consumer fraud. And it was just such a story that John was working on today when he was viciously attacked by a man who had been making threats for weeks. And we caution you that the following footage is graphic and may be disturbing to some.
Call the police.
The attacker is Sam Suleiman, the key subject of a series of reports by Fox 6 investigative journalist John Mattis. He now finds himself in a fight for his life.
You guys are trying to do to my life. You're invading my life. Why don't you air just the whole fucking thing? This is injustice. That's all you're doing.
That is Suleiman's wife, Rosa, who immediately blames the media for her troubles. But the evidence appears to speak otherwise.
Continue?
We found out that the real estate purchase contracts are all forged. Also the loan documents, the loan application, the 1003, as well as all disclosures have been all forged.
In an investigative series aired on Fox 6 in late July, John Mattis uncovered an elaborate scam allegedly carried out by Sam Suleiman, in which he stole identities to buy property and then rent to others. It was a white-collar crime, but apparently carried out by a man with a roughneck temper, as Suleiman left several messages with John colored with foul language and threats.
I haven't forgotten about you. I think about you every day.
John is just off camera here, playing the messages for Brian Phillips, who is about to share his own story of a violent run-in with Suleiman, when suddenly Rosa arrives on scene.
You didn't have enough with what you air? Stop the camera right now. Oh, yes, I will.
No, don't batter him.
Why are you doing this? You didn't have enough with what you air?
While emptying her water bottle, Rosa accuses John of invading her life. Her shouting continues for about a minute when John asks her about the allegations of violence.
Why do you have to batter people?
Weed? Why do I have to batter people?
That's not appropriate.
I don't give a Stop your behavior. Do you like Tijuana or Ensenada? Which one do you like better, huh? I'm going to put you on the other side of the country.
That is really pathetic.
I don't care. Stop this.
That's
Stop
pathetic.
this right now.
Have a nice
you
day.
Are, no, f*** you.
Have a nice
Have
day.
a nice day, my
Thank you. Bye-bye.
son of a
Photojournalist Dennis Waldrop, who has been recording the entire scene, follows Rosa, and she lashes out again.
Stop it! I'm gonna break the f***ing camera.
Now, with at least 2 acts of physical assault recorded, Rosa's husband, Sam Suleiman, arrives and goes on the attack.
It's not gonna stop.
Call the police.
The injuries inflicted by Suleiman would become quickly apparent, but Phillips and Waldrop come to John's aid and are able to hold Suleiman down. while Rosa says she's getting a gun. She returns without one, but threatens to use what appears to be a rock until she is stopped by a bystander. 6 minutes after Sam Suleiman's initial attack, police arrive.
Hands in front of you! Officer, he's been over.
Back up! Is this him?
This is him.
Okay. Turn around! Turn around!
Get the camera.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Sam Suleiman and his wife Rosa were arrested. John Mattis was taken to an emergency room for a series of tests, but he was well enough to sit down with me this evening to share his thoughts on what happened today. And we will have that for you in about 20 minutes. For now, I'm Jim Patton, live in the newsroom. Back to you.
Our Jim Patton joins us live once again from the newsroom tonight. He has this part of the story, Jim.
Well, Brian, as you know, the scenes of this attack just left us cringing here in the newsroom. Fox 6 investigative journalist John Mattis attacked for exposing a man who did not want to be exposed. But as John tells us tonight, it is his job to shine a light on the truth.
Call the police.
I was just going to do some interviews and got attacked.
Tuesday afternoon in La Jolla, Fox 6 investigative journalist John Mattis is attacked by Sam Suleiman, a man being investigated for a real estate scam, but also accused by several people of physical assault.
We were doing a series of interviews on a gentleman who's been threatening people in La Jolla, businessmen, people in the community, his neighbors.
John was about to talk to a man who claims to have been bitten by Suleiman, and John himself had received a series of threatening voicemails in which Suleiman admitted to having an issue with his temper.
I do have a bit of anger management or anger problem, and I signed up for this class here last week, so I'm learning to control it.
We all thought he'd come screaming, but he literally just came flying straight at me and just boom. I mean, didn't even stop. Didn't even slow down. I mean, and I'm feeling someone ripping at my face, pulling my hair. We're not talking about someone going a few rounds. We're talking about someone ripping, gouging, scratching, and biting me.
Because you have the media.
You don't understand. It's like, this cannot be going on.
While John and others fought to get Suleiman under control, his wife was free and threatening.
I'm fighting not to get hurt. But then to hear the screams of his wife, I'm gutting the gun, knowing the context of this person, I mean, it was terrifying.
But throughout the ordeal, John managed to keep his composure, even appearing calmly to report what had just happened to police as his face was covered in blood.
Well, I mean, we have a job to do. I mean, we're never going to be at that level. I don't think you get. That's just not who we are.
Well, John says, honestly, he doesn't feel too good tonight. He was given a battery test in the emergency room and did suffer some cracked ribs. He has also been given a series of shots because he was bitten to the point of drawing blood, and you saw the scratches all over his face. But all in all, he's going to be all right, and even talked about coming in to work tomorrow. And John, I can tell you it'll be okay if you take tomorrow off. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jim Patton, Fox 6 News.
I'm Mr. Trow. We showed you last night the dramatic footage of one of our reporters being attacked while on a story.
The reaction to that report, of course, has been national in scope, and tonight we have a follow-up for you. Our Jim Patton joins us live from the newsroom with more on this, Jim.
Yeah, Brian, Esther, we talk about this reaction being national in scope. We'll let you know in the last 24 hours, every news outlet in the country has requested and aired this footage, as well as many stations overseas. Meanwhile, our website has received more than 40,000 hits from people watching this story online. And the latest tonight is that the attackers at the center of this story posted bail late last night, and the first act of one of them may have been to get on a phone and make more threats.
Call the police.
It might be reasonable to think that after being recorded violently assaulting a television news journalist and being arrested and taken to jail, that Sam Suleiman would do anything but this.
This guy calls me at, 2:07 in the morning. That's how I knew he was out of jail. Nobody calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
R.J. Salerno is a North County business owner who gathered a body of criminal evidence against Suleiman in a real estate scam. The same scam being covered by Fox 6 reporter John Mattis when he was attacked. Salerno says early Wednesday morning, after Suleiman posted bail for the assault, he called.
He's telling me, I'm going to come and get you. I'm not done with you. I'm going to tear you apart.
Salerno claims there have been many threats over the past several months, since it was he who first put together the pieces that Suleiman was ripping people off by stealing their identities to buy property.
Sam basically used my identity.
Salerno became involved because his nephew, who was featured on Fox 6 News, was one of the victims. Salerno says he took his findings to the San Diego District Attorney in June and also confronted Suleiman with his evidence, and the threats began soon after.
Last month he said he was going to get a gun and come to my house. And I said, well, you know where I live. I mean, in my opinion, he's a terrorist.
Salerno says he's frustrated Suleiman was able to post bond and frustrated that the San Diego District Attorney hasn't moved faster on the real estate scam case.
They keep telling us that the boom's going to get lowered on this guy. They keep telling us that they're closing in. They're coming close. And here this guy is. He's running around. I mean, he's pursuing architects. He's threatening neighbors. He's tearing apart news camera people on live news. I mean, this is asinine. This is insane.
District Attorney's Office tells us that Sam Suleiman will be arraigned on Monday along with his wife. And in the meantime, there are many people living in fear as to what this man might do before then. Coming up in about 25 minutes, we'll share more of this man's reign of terror, including Sam Suleiman, in his own words, talking about his problems with his temper.
Our Jim Patton joins us once again from the newsroom. He has more on the threats from Sam Suleiman. Jim?
Well, Brian, as we heard from one man earlier in this newscast, about 2 a.m. this morning, he says he received a call from Suleiman, who had apparently just gotten out of jail, threatening to come and get him, that Suleiman wasn't done with him, that Suleiman was going to tear him apart. Of course, in light of the dramatic footage of our own John Mattis being attacked yesterday, these are not idle threats, and there are many people who have been threatened.
How many people have you threatened? How many people have you threatened in the last 3 months?
This is Fox 6 News reporter John Mattis questioning Sam Suleiman in late July. At the time, Suleiman was accused by many as a man who made violent threats, but it was before Tuesday's recorded attack made those threats so undeniably real. And in July, Suleiman vehemently denied even making threats.
You know what? For the camera, I don't give a rat's head what these reports say. If there's anybody...
Okay, so they're liars? Are they liars?
Absolutely, they're liars.
He threatened to have me beat up, have my legs broken, when I wouldn't agree to his new terms.
Architect Mark Mitchell was hired by Suleiman to help with some design work on this commercial building in La Jolla. Mitchell says the relationship went sour when he wouldn't agree to new terms proposed by Suleiman.
One of the worst ones was he threatened to attack and assault my wife, which just is unacceptable. It just, it's over the line.
But for Suleiman, it appears to be par for the course. In written statements, others with business dealings with him attest to the threats. One man states, I confronted him with questions regarding the transfer of multiple properties, at which point he threatened my life. Another, who briefly provided tax services for Suleiman, writes he basically threatened me, my livelihood, my business, and my life. In a voice message left with John Mattis, Suleiman himself admits to his temper.
I did use the word off, and for that I apologize. I do have a bit of anger management or anger problem, and I signed up for this class here last week, so I'm learning to control it.
But not long after that admission, Suleiman appeared to be back to his old way.
I haven't forgotten about you. I think about you every day. I'm gonna wipe your career out when I get done with you, parasite pest, skinny little.
Suleiman's anger appeared to reach its climax yesterday, or so everyone hopes, as his arraignment is still days away. And again, that arraignment should take place on Monday. According to the arrest record from yesterday's attack, Suleiman is facing a charge for battery, while his wife is facing charges for battery, brandishing a weapon. She at one point picked up an object which she threatened to use, grand theft, she stole one of our microphones, and making criminal threats. Now, finally, we would like to update you on the condition of John Mattis. He is doing well. You may have spotted him today as he was interviewed on a number of national news programs. And John also helped, I should mention, a great deal with helping to produce tonight's coverage on this story. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jim Patton, Fox 6 News.
It's good to be back, and it's good to be reporting on issues that affect us all. Tonight, we're going to be telling you about mortgage fraud. It's a scam I was investigating when attacked, and it's a scam you need to know about.
He used my bank statements and my good credit and my name.
It was a Fox 6 investigation we started months ago.
He had put 3 houses in my name for over $750,000.
What we've been investigating are allegations that La Jolla real estate agent Sam Suleiman is engaged in mortgage fraud. Tuesday in court, the state acknowledged they too are looking at Mr. Suleiman's real estate dealings.
The District Attorney's Office Real Estate Fraud Division has opened up an investigation into these allegations, and this is an ongoing investigation at this.
So, what is mortgage fraud?
Mortgage fraud is not harmless.
Jan Caldwell of the FBI says it involves
wire fraud, mail fraud.
The crime often involves creating phony documents to get loans or using assumed names to buy properties. The money is made when the scammer turns the properties into rentals, while never making a payment on the mortgage.
We take this very seriously, and probably within the last year there's been an uptick in mortgage fraud.
And it isn't just people like Ethry Schroeder who are victims.
It is not a crime that goes without victims. We all suffer the consequences. The interest rates go up. It's harder for legitimate buyers to get loans.
But how do you protect yourself from swindlers?
It's important to have a realtor advocate.
Charles Jolly of the San Diego Board of Realtors says it's dangerous to buy or sell a home without an advocate.
Still so many pitfalls, I advise against it.
In the cases Fox 6 News uncovered, none of the victims in the scheme had a realtor to help them.
They had no representation.
Meanwhile, as the schemes add up, we all pay.
Bottom line on all this, it's a loss to us as consumers.
Meanwhile, on a personal note, I want to thank the hundreds and hundreds of viewers who wrote offering support after the attack on me. Again, thank you. I'm mending and back. John Mattis, Fox 6.